All right, good morning, everybody. Can go ahead and utilize that hand raise function, and we will get started. Out of principle, we'll let John Warner get it started.
Hey, Dave. What did you feel like you guys accomplished during the bye week?
We focused on specific screens on offense, and then on defense, we focused on gap schemes, and getting better at stopping the run, angles to tackle, the appropriate angles, using your help, and using your sidelines when necessary. And so I think all of that, if we back that up, was all just focusing on details and trying to win the individual, whether it's a meeting or it's a walkthrough or whether it's a run through or it's a team period. And I thought we did a great job of that. And I think at the end in the team periods there was a fair amount of energy and execution, which I think anytime you have those two, you're on the right track.
Do you feel like the mood of the team is still pretty good even after the close losses?
It's good. I thought, yesterday, for example, everyone wanted to be back, and I was just talking with R.J. Sneed and Terrell and Garrett McGuire, a couple other guys, and they were talking about how they missed it over the weekend, not being around each other and being back, and how much it means to be back. And so I felt that. For a Sunday, you felt there was an energy and there was the vibe there that, let's get on to competing. And so I feel that there's some good momentum.
I also want to ask you a little bit about Raleigh Texada. What do you like about his skills there at cornerback?
He is very smart. I think he takes coaching. You tell him something one time, he gets it. He's able to apply it, within a series or with on a sideline. Can take it to the field the very next series. I think he's improved in his press coverage. I think he's real comfortable and he's got great vision and break from playing off. I think he's someone that can do all of it. That can play two, play quarters, play bail thirds, play man, play on, play off. And so I think his flexibility and his ability to learn and apply in real rapid fashion, I think, make him special.
Thank you, Dave.
Yeah.
Go to Bryce Cherry next.
Yeah, Dave, as John alluded to, obviously several of these games have been close at the end. And have you guys, as you've broken down film, kind of targeted certain things that you need to do better late in the game, or does it just come down to a team kind of learning how to win?
No, I think it's a really good question. I think playing 4 quarters is the first piece, and so starting fast, that was something we were fighting early on, and I feel that we've improved in that area. There's still games to go where we can excel there. We talk about the middle 8 area, right before the half and the start of the half, and trying to win points there, right? And I think we've gotten better in that area. I think there's some games where we didn't do as well as we hope, but what you're bringing up is the end of the game and closing it out. And so I think we talk about those things and we review those situations and kind of what the thinking was and what the objective is or was at that time, and what we could have done better and what we did do well. And I think just as important is the practice part of it. And so getting into practices where we're working through an individual, working through a special teams period and a horn blows, and all of a sudden now it's sudden change and we've got 4 minutes. Right, so the offense needs to get 2 first downs, and the defense needs to stop them, and that's the game, right? Or it's red zone, the horn blows, right? And offense has got to score, and defense got to keep them out. keep him out of the end zone. And so I think issues are situations like that where guys have to compete, and we have to be able to think on our feet and kind of attack those situations and really own them. I think that piece is important for us to get us to where we're finishing.
Next question from Curtis Quillen.
Coach, when you go up against Kansas State Saturday night, is the biggest key for you guys something matchup-wise, X's and O's, or is it the stuff that you've been talking about this morning that you guys were working on in that bye week, kind of self-contained and trying to finish games?
I think it's that. I think it's us. I appreciate that question. I think it's the ability to like win today. Right? I thought we won yesterday, and so like win today. So whether that's everyone's being on early for their learning specialists, everyone's being early for tutoring, right? Everyone's making their classes, right? If we got film to show, we got guys that are coming up on their own, right? Taking time out of their schedule to watch film, and they're bringing somebody with them, and they're taking notes, and they're saying, hey, anytime this tight end's in a 3-point stance, right, it's this, or when he's off the ball at this level, it's that, or hey, the 3 techniques tight, it's this. When the 3 techniques wide, it's that. I think those things today, we win today. And then getting into tomorrow, a lot of the same stuff, like making sure we're hydrating, making sure that we're making all of our meals, making sure that we're on time to class, making sure that when we get to practice, right, we're in the right mindset to attack that. And all the details, right, hit those things out of the park. I think we do those and we stack those wins. The win on Saturday will come. And so I feel like our ability to focus in on ourselves, I think, is the critical piece.
We'll go to Matt Roberts.
Yeah, Coach, a lot of those things that you talked about there with Bryce, the middle eight, finishing these games, a lot of these veterans were on the team last year that was able to do that. Obviously, y'all weren't here, but does it help having those guys that have done it before and now you're just trying to get it to get back to that level, knowing that they've already done it?
I think so. I think it helps. I think there's times where the approach is different, and so maybe that end result's the same, but maybe the approach is different. And so I think there's some things that always need to be worked out there in terms of this is where we're headed, right? But this is kind of how we're doing it. And so I think the more you have guys that know where you're headed and know what the expectation is and know that there's a standard of a day-to-day, right, excellence that's got to occur for these things to transpire, I think it helps you.
And as you go down the stretch, the final 3 opponents here, where they are in the Big 12 standings, how much would a couple of wins here down the stretch against high-quality opponents that you have remaining do for this team, not only this year but moving forward?
No, I think what it would do is success would help validate just kind of what we're going through on the day-to-day, which is a huge piece right now. And so, like, our way of approaching, a Sunday, our way of approaching a Monday, the work we put into Tuesday, right, how we handle a Wednesday, all of those things will be validated. And I think, we're working hard to get that done.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
Go to Jerry Hill.
Dave, Quaylon Jones stepped in, had his first start, had some good production. What did you see out of him, and can you evaluate, Abram Smith obviously had some big shoes to fill. Can you evaluate what you saw from him in that game?
Yeah, I thought there's a lot of good from Quaylon. I think there's room to improve for sure with it being, his first real go at it. But Quaylon, when he puts his foot in the ground and gets north and south, is a load. And he plays behind his pads with the speed he has and the size and the explosion that he has, becomes really, really special. And so I think the more that he is a north and south runner, whether even it's on perimeter plays, it's with good blocking on the sideline, getting a foot in the ground and getting north and south with the ball, I think he's a true weapon for us. I thought, in terms of assignment-wise, I thought he was really good. I thought his ability to take the week and then apply it on a Saturday was strong. And then the adjustments that were on the sideline, there's a fair amount of adjustments that are being made. He was able to apply that in real time. And so there's a lot of positives that come out of that. I think for him to play to his strengths and to play like a back that's 240, that's got real legit speed, I think more consistently gets him that much better. And I think Abram, I thought there was times where Abram's shooting gaps. There's times where he's stacking a 3 technique and falling back. So he's showing really some variability and flexibility in his game, where it wasn't just a one-time thing all the time. But there was some calmness with him when there's tempo, and he was communicating, helping guys get lined up along there with Dylan. And so there's a lot of positives from him there. Now the difference in this week from last is going to be the amount of run that we're going to see, right? And the varying personnel groups, and tight ends, and gap schemes, and really the specific way that we're going to have to fit plays to cancel out their running game. And so I feel like, it's a challenge, but he'll be up for it. He's up there right now, studying tape and everything, and so it means a lot to him. I appreciate that he's putting forth the effort.
Thanks, Dave.
What are you doing?
Next up, Andrew Miner.
Hey, Coach. The unique year that is 2020 kind of keeps on going by entering this holiday week. Are there any special plans that you have as a team for Thanksgiving?
No, I appreciate that. We've got a few coaches that have houses here in town where we're breaking off the team into groups that are feasible to have the players over at our houses. And so by position group most often, but not always. But Thursday we'll practice early, and then we'll break and have Thanksgiving dinner at coaches' houses. So we're looking forward to that. I know that, there's times where you wish that all that could be more involved just throughout the year, throughout summer and throughout spring and throughout all of it. But, we'll certainly take the opportunity to have our players meet our families and spend the holiday together.
Is there anything else that you're doing at this juncture to kind of keep the team morale high and keep them in high spirits down the stretch here?
Well, I think the number one thing we do is just the weight workouts we have and the practices we have. We bring energy to those things, and I think whether it's myself, right, or our assistant coaches or our players, just if we're in it, right, we're bringing energy with it. And so I think there is some juice at our practices. I think there's times where maybe it gets a little bit too much juice. And so I think our ability to continue to bring that and get it to where it's as full speed as it can be, right, and we're given if it's 1-0 versus 2D, and the 2D is given the look of K-State for our 1-0, then we want as much talent as we can on that opposite side, going as hard and fast as they can to get those ones, right, the best look that we can give them, right? And the faster and the more energy there is and the physical it is, the better, right? It's the closest we can get to game day. And so I think the more that we can play at that type of level throughout the week and then in the weight room, right, the more that we'll get those things to stick. And so I feel like that's number one. 2 would be, right, we're having the team come up in the evening with some film that's available to them. So they're coming up, watching film as position groups and talking through what they're seeing and taking notes. And I feel like their ability the leaders that are inherent to coach the younger players and bring them along, and I'm seeing this, what do you see? I feel like that's going to pay off for us as well.
Thanks, Coach, and happy Thanksgiving to you guys.
Hey, thank you.
Back to John Warner.
Dave, what do you see from K-State? They got off to a really strong start, lost a few now. What do you see from them just overall?
I think they're really well coached. I feel like they're very specific in what they want, both defensively and offensively. So defensively, a 2-eye shell, they'll play quarters and cover 3, and they really hide that safety coming down. And then in quarters, they do a great job of their fits. There's no, if you see a play versus certain defense, it's fit the same way. There's no kind of making up stuff on the run. It's very tightly wound, terms of how they play things. And so there's a strength that comes out of that. And I think offensively, I was telling the defensive staff earlier just that in terms of how they game plan the run and how they attack people. I mean, it's angles, it's numbers, a real subtle way they go about it too. I think they're very impressive. Now, they're hurting with just personnel and guys that were playing early or not playing now on both sides. And so I certainly empathize there and know the struggle that's going on there. But I have a lot of respect for the staff and the team, and I know they're going to put their best effort here come Saturday.
Thank you, Dave.
Go to Kevin Lundquist.
Dave, when you were mentioning on your Big 12 call about Sims and Lovett and Taekwon being more available this week, what do you foresee them being a part of this game in terms of being more active? Because I think they could have played against Tech. You maybe just held them out for a precautionary reason, but kind of how have things changed over the last couple of weeks?
I think they're in a good spot, and so I feel that both are really eager and willing. And I think for us, on our side of it, is to put them in the best position to be successful, and so to find routes and matchups where Taekwon can really be an asset for us and really showcase what he can do, and then for Sims is to the same way to put him in positions where he can maximize the reps this week and then take that to the field on Saturday. And so I feel like the more we think players over plays, right, and really focus on the guys that we got, and let's get them involved, and let's maximize the talent that we have, the better we'll be.
And what about Lovett?
Same with John. Yeah. So I think, so yesterday we were out there and he's smiling the whole time. I know he's missed it. And so the ability to be back and be with his brothers and be a part of it, he's excited and ready to attack it.
And then you mentioned about last week about the opportunities presenting themselves with Bohannon and Zeno along with Charlie. How have you all still continued to think about that? How you use these last three games to try to find a spot for them, or is it fluid, or how do you see that?
I'm sorry, could you say it again?
I was just talking about, you had mentioned last week about opportunities presenting themselves to play Gary and or Jacob or both behind Charlie or along with Charlie. Are you all still kind of thinking through that, or how do you see that?
Gotcha. Yeah, so I would see just as particularly these last couple of weeks, but even prior to that, we're in such dogfights with these games, and we're trying to build to whether it's close it out or we're trying to inch back. And so in just those types of situations, right, we have a lot of confidence in Charlie, and I know that, he's a leader for us, right? Our team respects him, right? I love him, and we're going to give him that opportunity to finish out and close out these games that we're either trying to close out or come back from. And so I think the more it's in those types of situations, these nip and tuck games, the more that Charlie will start it and finish it.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Go back to Jerry. Jerry Hill.
Dave, Christian Morgan really had a nice bounce back game this last week, maybe one of his best games. Was that him just maybe kind of taking a while to get used to this defense? And then with Jalen Petrie, what he's been able to do, is that the defense putting him in the right spot, him making good reads, maybe a combination of both?
No, I appreciate that. Yeah, I was really happy for Christian. I thought, Christian's someone that I love Christian's heart. I think Christian is someone that really, it means so much to him. And he wears his emotions on his sleeve. And so if there's, if you're asking for 100%, he's going to give you 110. And that's the Christian that I know, and I imagine he'll always be that way. And so when things are not successful for him, it's a deep hurt, So for his ability to bounce back, like you say, and just execute the details and the small things the right way, and kind of what he was able to do is let the plays come to him this week or this past week. Whereas before, I think we got into trouble of him searching and trying to find plays as opposed to seeing his keys, taking his footwork, and letting the plays come to him. And so I think he's in a good spot in terms of kind of how, the rhythm and the rhyme for how he's going to play the remainder. And I think with Jalen, I think, he's got such a knack. He's similar. And we've got a couple guys. Terrell was this way. I think Christian, in a way, is this way. Jalen for sure is. That just have they're just football players and just have a knack for, hey, this action's this, but the ball's going here, right? Or, hey, this look means this play. And so I think a lot of those things are playing out. And I think the more that he's in throwing lanes and he's to the field and there's receivers out there and he can blitz, he can zone out, he can play man, right? And you have that mix and people don't know, the more that Jalen can play his games, and there's a fair amount that goes into it, and so it's good that he's on our side of it.
All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to y'all tomorrow.
Thank you, guys.
Thank y'all.
Okay, appreciate it.